These instructions will show you how to use SketchUp models and create them for use within LandMentor. As long as a 3D model can be saved in a collada file, .dae format, any 3D package can be used. We chose SketchUp because of its ease of use. We also recommend not the free version of SketchUp Make, but Pro, because in Pro you can read an AutoCAD DWG file that could be created in LandMentor. There's an infinite number of ways you can use SketchUp. We recommend holding only to these methods and not experimenting, because over the last 5 years we have created methods that will let you create the model very fast with enough detail in a site plan to be very impressive. In your system, read the SketchUp example that came with these instructions. When you first call up the floor plan, you'll see the gentleman in the model. You want to take and remove him. You might have to explode the group in some cases, but in this cases it isn't a group yet. Sometimes this will come up as a group, sometimes when you read in a floor plan it won't. If it's not, immediately select all, right click on a line and make it a group. And the reason for that is you want to center your model. So align the little red pluses exactly on the axis. So now it's centered. It's an easy way to center it first instead of later. Then what you want to do with the move tool, we use the move tool to center it, is raise it until you see the blue line. Then enter 1 and enter to raise it an inch. Because if your surface is flat, you want to raise it slightly above the surface so that the colors you choose within are not on the same plane if the surface is flat, and then you're fighting like lawn textures and things like that. Or in some cases the floor plan is raised and then the garage is slightly above. But in any case, that's what you want to do. Then you'll want to use your selection tool and then right click and explode that model. So you'll notice we just have line work. We need to create spatial data. So you'll use your pencil and a line up on an endpoint. Make sure it's an endpoint, you're not creating a new point. And then what happens is, as you cross over multiple things, you'll see it fills it in. Now this island is not filled in, and now it turns light, so it is. And the little trick is you want to create things that are common on both sides, so you can kind of kill a bunch of different tasks with one sweep, which is why I'm going all the way across here, and then catch anything that you missed. So as you go through to make these various fills, what you want to do is make sure everything in your model is indeed filled, and even nested things. So for example, that's a bathtub. You would need to go to the inside, and you can see it'll turn a very light color when you're doing this. So this window's missed, so I'll just zip across here and 2 endpoints, and then the only thing I have left is this wall. So it's a fairly quick process. Make sure everything is filled, and then you want to do a base color. So I'll go into colors, and I'm just going to choose kind of a background color for the wall, and this light pink. So everything is highlighted. You can hit Control A just to make sure everything is selected, and then create that base color top and bottom and make sure everything is colored. If it's not, go ahead and make sure you've selected that. Now we have a base color to work with. Then you'll use your push-pull tool and you'll raise your first wall. So you want to hold tap Control so you get the little plus mark, and what that will do is create a solid wall. You want to always have that little plus mark next to your push-pull tool when you're creating walls. And I'm just going to hit 9 and then the foot mark to make that 9 foot tall. And then I still have the plus mark, and make sure it doesn't go away. If it does, make sure you tap Control again and pull your walls up. And what I'm doing is just pulling it up and then aligning it to an existing point. So you only have to hit 9 feet once, and don't forget the foot mark, otherwise it's 9 inches. And so these openings are where the windows will be. And then here's the kitchen wall here. So as I move around and pull these up, you'll notice that sometimes when you're in an angle, you're hiding things. So you want to move around, and again, you've learned in Sketchup through the instructions that moving is simply holding the middle button down, or the holding shift and the right button will let you move around, and the different little Sketchup tools. This is not, the purpose of these instructions is not to teach you Sketchup. You should be able to learn that in the first few instructions. So now we've got the base walls and we're an inch above the ground. At this time, you could choose to color on your floors. So for this example, we're going to use wood for the living room, and we're going to use a darker wood for the cabinets. And then here's the this is the refrigerator. And what we're going to do is use the push tool and push this up 28 inches, or the height of the cabinet. And since we still have the plus mark on here, we're going to move these items up too. Now this cabinet is where the cabinet. This is the overhang for the dining, the seating area. So we just wanted to move this up. I could go ahead and erase tool and reach these little corners here and just erase out the lines. And now we've got that cabinet. I'll go ahead and paint that. And we've got the basis to move our countertop up. So the countertop, I'm just going to use stone and a texture, and that's going to be our countertop. I'm going to put the push tool, move that up by 2 inches, and this up by 2, and this up again by, and I just reached over there for the same height, and then erase this little line here, and now I've got my kitchen counters. Refrigerator, we're going to put that in some metal color, and then I'm going to raise that up 6 feet, 6, and then the foot mark, and I can erase, oops, got to be careful with that push-pull tool, erase that little line there we don't need. Same thing here in the bathtub. So bathtub, we're going to take the color and just give it kind of like an ivory color, and we'll have the wall of the bathtub, and we're going to raise that floor just a little bit, and the bathtub, create a little bathtub in there. Now, so we have the base there, and we've got the living area. So what I'm going to do is go into carpet and just choose a carpet color for the bedroom, closet, another bedroom, closet, closet, and this is a bathroom. Put one in the closet there, and then in the bathroom some tile, and create some tile floor for the bathroom, and so we've got that. Now, as far as the floor of the garage, we'll go into concrete, asphalt and concrete, choose a texture for that, and a front porch. And I'm going to go below too, because what if this is a walkout and the ground is not flat? So I'm going to make that concrete. I'm going to use the push-pull tool, make sure the plus mark's there. I'm going to pull that down by 4 and then the foot mark. Same thing here, just take and reference that bottom, and now we have the bottom of that. You could use the push-pull tool. We'll do that later for these columns and for the lower levels. And now here's where we put in our windows. And for this, I'm just going to look at my architectural rendering and reference approximately where these windows are. So once you put your reference on these windows, it'll automatically kind of tie to that area. Now these windows will have the same height coming up. There's going to be a sliding glass door, but we're going to put that height in there, this one, and then these two windows. So our base is going to start, and I'm just eyeballing this, by the way, because for this purpose, you can do that. And then, when you're looking at site plan, we're not creating architecture for just one lot. You're using this multiple times. So this is a bedroom, and let's say these windows, let's say you have a dimension, and these windows start at 24 inch. So I'm just putting my pencil down here, going 24, enter, and then it creates a point I can use because that's 24 inches. So now I have a base for that, and that's going to be the same here for this window. That's going to be a sliding glass door, and it's going to be the same here for this window. The kitchen's higher because of the countertops, and the bathroom's going to be higher too. So we've got the base for the window. Use the push-pull tool, and then when there's only one window, you could just pull it and then reference the line. Make sure you stop and it says on edge. Okay, see it says on edge? Now this one had to go all the way through, so I'm going to undo the push-pull, make sure I have the plus mark, and then bring it all the way through. If it's only one window, you could do on edge. Again, plus mark all the way through. One window on edge. Let's take a look at that. Make sure sometimes you have to move it a little bit. And then multiple windows. Make sure you get the plus mark, and then you can pull it through. So that's how to do this. And then this one, you see where it stopped at that one line? And you can't go any further. So we'll hit undo, because that's it'll stop at an existing line. So I'm just going to hit the plus mark instead. And now we've got the windows. So now the task is to erase these little lines here. So you want to erase them on the edges. Be careful that you can zoom up enough that you're not erasing too many other things. So we've got that big bedroom window, this big bedroom window, and you'll want to erase these. Now I'm not going to bother erasing them on the inside. I could, but you're not going to see them once they're in LandMentor, and so it's just extra work you don't have to do. Now look out for something that doesn't look right. So for example, you see this thick line? If I erase this, that could be a gap. See that? So I'm going to hit edit, undo. There was a problem where something didn't align. This is very typical when you're reading in AutoCAD and things aren't exactly in line. And this is the kind of problems that can happen, and they're very difficult to edit out later. And that's why we were showing you that you'll probably want to put this in first, not from AutoCAD, but actually manually in LandMentor to prevent those type of things from happening. Now at this point we've got a good base, we've got our window openings, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down my other walls, again the plus mark. I'm going to pull them down 8 feet. So actually I'll pull it down another 2 foot, get rid of the plus mark, another 2 foot, 10 foot, and that would be like 8 foot lower level, the thickness of the wall and the thickness of the foundation. Everything you do might have a walkout or a steep slope, and I'm not going to bother pulling all the walls down. What I'm going to do now that I have my upper walls is just pull the corners and then pull them to close them off. And I've got this one here, so I'll pull this down, pull this off here, and again I'll have the same problem of this not connecting, and that's what happens a lot of times when you're using these architectural plans, and why you want to use LandMentor as your base. And what this will do is just create my solid lower level walls.